Now it's time for the Soviet life. And you better don't refuse, because you know what happens if you refuse it. So, we start with an underrated squad, the PPT-27. This squad looks small and funny with these heads. It gets 2 additional slots though. So 1 engineer and then either engineer or anti-tank gunner. So this is great. The weapon itself is also insane. It comes with over 1000 fire rate for BR1. And actually good stats outside of that. It only has 21 rounds, but yes, if it had more rounds, it would be literally a BR3 weapon. So this is the most insane BR1 weapon you can get. And the squad is also good. If you're a new player and you're playing Soviets, this is definitely a good squad. It's very close to being called a very good squad. Ah, okay, the perks are ass, yes. Well, it's only an Assault 1 squad, so yeah, on BR2 the squad already loses its usefulness, because the Soviets instantly start coming with insanely overpowered BR2 SMGs, and then 2 insanely overpowered BR3 SMGs. So, if this was in German or in most other nations, this squad would be even still good at BR2, but the Soviets just explode way too high with their power creep. So what does it mean overall? Overall, this is a good squad. Not a must-buy, but it's a good squad for BR1. A good squad for BR1 will help you grind very easily, and you will have a lot of fun spraying away enemies with it. If you're a new player, this is definitely gonna make your Soviet grind very easy and very fast. Then we get this strange-looking thing. It is an okay tank, but that's all. Sorry, it's well, it's not worth buying. It looks funny. It looks like the Bat Mobile from the 90s or whatever, and it has an okay cannon because the Soviets don't have any better cannon on BR1, and it comes with 4 crew members, which is better than what the Soviet tanks usually come with. If you absolutely want to have it for your collection, it costs very little. In that case, it's okay, but that's all there is to it. It has more collection and style value than it has playability value, because you rather just quickly grind the weak, like the only weakness the Soviets have are the BR1 tanks. After that, once you get your T50 at BR2, you instantly start getting really good tanks, and then the T28s. So yeah, I mean, if you don't mind the price and you want to grind Soviets, you can just get yourself the PPT and this, and then you have 2 overpowered squads for BR1. And if you want to play BR1 permanently, then this can also be useful because it's better. It's actually better than the Tech 3 tank. So yeah, I would call it an okay squad overall. Then the bikes, once again, same as all other bikes. Then the Mosin squad. Well, we get a very badly perked Rifleman squad. That's barely playable BR1, completely unplayable in BR2. Yeah, this is a bad squad. You'd rather just buy this insanely fun and strong squad than this weak rifle squad. Then PPSH-41 on the medics. Now these medics, I think, they're either limited to 4 or they received engineer. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure. Received an engineer slot. I think they actually received an engineer squad. Well, either way, this is a BR2 squad with a weapon that's simply just okay. But instead of that, you can just play assaulter squads from BR2, which are infinitely better. So yeah, like relative to what you get for free, this is absolutely not worth it, and it's a complete waste of money. So yeah, overall a bad squad. Oh, but I want female voice lines. Yeah, for collection purposes you could buy it, but that's literally the only reason to buy it. Overall, still not really worth buying. Then, a squad that I bought last Christmas sale, the famous Soviet tank destroyer line. Yes, I like tank destroyers, as you might see. Su-76. Why is it good? It has one of the best cannons from BR2. A long 76 cannon, or a medium long 76. Penetrates and destroys every tank with basically one shot. Has lots of ammo and also can deal lots of damage to enemy infantry. Only problem is you're slow, you don't have a turret, and you don't even have a rooftop. So, yep, this is, by the way, more playable than a Dikamax. This is more playable than Dicker Max because the cannon has many more shells, and if you survive, and you can only survive in tanks like these if you position yourself very, very strategically intelligent, or you just have luck that there's no enemy who's killing you. If you position yourself somewhere and you survive, this can dish out insane damage. Like the damage output will be insanely high for BR2. And this will easily deal more damage than in Dicker Max, because Dicker Max will run out of shells after around 2 minutes. This thing can keep shelling enemies for days and just get you dozens of kills. So yeah, like in BR2, if once the Dicker Max get down tiered, hopefully, it would be actually a reasonable question whether this thing is better than Dicker Max, which is currently on BR3. So, summed up, this means that, yep, if you like playing Soviets BR2, this is definitely worth getting. Definitely worth getting. Because it's stronger than anything the Soviets get on BR2 in terms of fire output. Only problem is, it is quite limited against BR3, because on BR3 you get such insanely good tanks like the KV-1 and the good T-34s, that this is basically a weaker version. Like the KV-1 is the same cannon basically, and there's no reason to play this over the KV-1. So the only downside of this tank is it loses its playability quickly, but it still can help you grind. And if you like playing BR2, it's a very good tank. So overall, this would be between an okay to good tank. It's an okay tank overall, and if you like playing BR2 for long, not just to grind, then it's definitely an okay, definitely a good tank. Then we get the PPD. This is a very power-crept squad that's basically unplayable. It has horrible perks, and it is very small, and the weapon, yep, it has 71 bullets, but it's very slow. And you don't profit from the many bullets because they're weak, and you likely are going to get shot down much faster in return. So, and the Tech 3 weapons you get for the Soviets are much better. So yeah, this is a useless squad. It's a bad squad overall. I would call it okay squad if the perks weren't that bad, but the perks make it even additionally worse. So yeah, no. Then a very spicy plane. It fluctuates between okay to good plane. In terms of fun level, it's definitely a good plane. The famous Yak 9K. Now, War Thunder player told me this is one of the most hated planes in the game, because you since you only have planes and tanks in War Thunder, this is an absolute menace. Why? Because you have a generous 29 45mm shells that actually penetrate and explode. I think it's APHE shells. So if you strafe a plane, it instantly dies. Planes can't survive a hit like that. And if you miss, you still have 200 HMG shells, so fine with that. Here's your main cannon, here's your HMG. But if you hit a tank, it's also over. If you hit a tank right from the top, you can blow up even BR4 and 5 tanks. And if you hit a BR3 tank from the side, it also dies. Even at bad angles, you still will deal very painful damage to enemy tanks. So as long as enemies are feeding you with tanks, this is insanely fun to play. And very strong. And unlike against bombs, the tanks can't do anything. You just start sniping them and they explode. So yeah, very good. And only downside of this plane is if the enemies don't have any tanks or planes at all, yeah, then you're useless. But in that case, you can just leave it and take something else. So yep, all in all, this is a good plane. This is a good plane and a good squad. And you also get good perks. So you get a plane of fighter 3 category. And also keep in mind, since this is a fighter plane, you can have 2 planes in the sky that are very good against ground targets like tanks. Whereas usually fighters wouldn't be that strong, but this is more dangerous to the enemy tanks than even the attacker plane will be. And since you're going to play against German tanks, or hopefully next month against Japanese tanks too, they don't have that much armor on the top, so they all will die. They will all die. Yep, this plane might even become better in the future than it already is. So yep, this is definitely a good plane. Then the snipers for the Soviets. this is almost the same as the German squad, but the weapon is better. The weapon is just a bit better, and a bit better makes it actually, it surpasses the threshold of being actually useful. It has similar bad perks for snipers, but well, you get 4 snipers. Well, this is the only way to get so many snipers in your squad, meaning 4, and then you get an engineer. And if you shoot with him, you see the recoil is quite low. And most importantly, you can also use it as a good semi-auto weapon. So yeah, this is actually good. This is actually good. Also, it shoots faster than the German one. Yep, I would call the squad. If you like snipers, it's a good squad. If you don't like them, it's still an okay squad. And it's even playable on BF4. So yeah, this is, yeah, depending on your personal preferences, it's between okay to actually good. Then the Parkerized, one of the coolest looking squads in the game. Sadly, simply weak. It's BF5, and here's the problem. If you remember the German Suomi squad that struggled with its competition, this is even worse, because the Soviets literally have a PPSH with better stats, because they get the PPSH with 200 more fire rate for free in the tech tree. Instead of having Assaulter 2s, you can have Assaulter 4s, and you will also get actually good weapons and equipment. And if you want, you can, well, you can, well, let's put it this way, you can play on BF5 for the Soviets, literally the most overpowered assault rifles in the game. The best classic assault rifle, the AS-44, and then the Fedorov Aftermath, which is theoretically the most buffed, most overpowered tech tree weapon overall in Enlisted. Yeah, it simply doesn't make sense to buy something that is much weaker than what you get for free. So, yeah, it's only worth it for the cool and actually also iconic Marine outfit. For those wondering why they're running around like that, machine gunners usually do it because for them it's actually hard to carry the ammunition, and carrying it on the body is easier than in boxes because the boxes would be very heavy. Now, the Soviet Marines oftentimes did it because they were very quickly ordered from their Marine positions to fight as infantry, and they simply were not equipped with ammo boxes very often, so they didn't have any alternative than to put lots of ammunition and other things on their bodies because they lacked the equipment to carry it any other way. Well, Soviet life, I guess. Then on BF4 we get the American life because the American lent-leased some very strong hardware with a Mustang relative, the P63, that comes with very good flying stats that still keep up on BF5 thanks to the high climb rate, good turn rate, and good speed. Coming with 1 heavy bomb, 4 HMGs, and very importantly, a 37mm cannon in the nose. Now this is basically the Yak 9K for BF4, which is, well, much better than the Yak K. It isn't as strong against tanks because the cannon is weaker, but it's still very good. It still penetrates very well, and you have much more ammo, and you get the bomb and overall better weaponry. So if you are glazing the Soviets hard and you love to play Soviets on all BRs, this is definitely worth a try. Since, yeah, if you like playing cannon planes, this is definitely what you want. Yep, it's also extremely expensive. So if you want to get your hands on this plane, you better do it now on sale because usually paying 50 euros for this is not worth it. So yeah, my verdict would be it's between okay to good. Well, if you like that plane, it's definitely good. Regarding how useful it is, it's just okay because you get, I mean, for BF4 there's not too much competition in terms of Soviet planes, so yeah, in that case you get a very good plane. But BF4 is the least play BR out of all, so that's the problem. and on BR5 you get much better planes. Much better planes, so this one quickly loses its usability, but it still is playable on BR5, so yeah, it's literally, if you want the type of plane, if you want it for the cannon, it's good. Otherwise it's just okay, because you don't really need to buy it. Then the KV-2, now this is similar to the cannon plane. If you like the very big, very slow cannon that one-shots everything, it's a good thing to have. Also very iconic, gigantic tank. Yes, you need these things here to climb up, otherwise it's too tall for a normal human being. And yeah, but you don't need it for any power level reasons, because this thing is simply not much better than the Tech 3 tanks. In Tech 3 you get 2 good T-34s and you you get one very good KV-1, which is one of the best tanks overall in BR3. Why is the KV-2 worse than the KV-1? Well, the KV-1 has simply a cannon that will deal more damage, because the cannon shoots very fast, this shoots very slowly. Yes, you have 36 shots, don't worry, this is like having 100 shots usually, because it takes forever to shoot them all. And you one-shot every tank, and you one-shot every infantry you see in a vast area, but it's insanely slow. And well, the only thing that keeps you alive in between your slow shots is this little machine gun. So is this thing worth buying or not? If you really want it, it's definitely worth buying, because the Tech 3 KV-2 doesn't have the machine gun. So that one is completely unplayable. And it also prevents you from playing the other KV-1, because they're both on the same squad. But if you get this, then, well, you can play both KV-1 and KV-2. So the historical role-playing aspect is definitely there. It even stays partially playable on BR4. Because the cannon still is playable on BR4, of course, and the armor is okay, because until you get the IS-1, which is the overall strongest tank in BR4, because it got down-tiered right from BR5, this thing holds up. The other tanks you get before that aren't really tankier than this one. So yeah, this is cool. Yeah, if you really want the Soviet experience on BR3, especially from a historical standpoint, this is a good complementary tank to the KV-1. But you don't really need it. You actually don't need it at all, because the KV-1 already does everything. It's just a fun tank to have. So this is stuck in between okay to good, depending on what your personal inclinations are. Then you get an assault rifle assaulter squad. Sorry, this is the partisan. Too much Enlisted video recording today. I already got brain damage. This is the Paratrooper squad, of course, and this is the officially best Paratrooper squad in the game. Why? Because it can change its weapons, so it's perfectly playable on all BRs. You can always give your squad the weapon that you want it to have, and it will always have it. And it comes with all the advantages of Paratrooper squads. And if you buy it on BR5, you can also play it on BR1. So if you're a new player, this is the best Soviet squad to have. Since you can give them just any BR1 SMG, and tada, you can play it on BR1. And it will always scale with every BR you're playing. And on top of all of that, you get these 6 assault rifles for free, which saves you a couple 10,000 silver, because first of all, it saves you a lot of grind. If you reach BR, whatever BRs you have, you don't need to grind you don't need to grind the assault rifle. You can start BR5 very quickly if you barely touch the BR5 stuff. Yeah, this is just insanely good. Insanely good. People won't even believe it, but yeah, the Soviet Paratrooper squads are just that flexible and that strong. So yeah, this is a must-buy. This is straight up must-buy if you want to play Soviets. And if you don't have the event Paratroopers that have the same, that come with the same feature of having flexible weapon slots, this is as much of a must-buy as it basically gets. Then, a tank that I always wanted to buy, but it always keeps disappointing me, the SU Tank Destroyer line with a 100mm cannon. The 100mm are one of the best cannons overall. This is a very long version. This thing slaps basically all German tanks, but the problem is you also get slapped back quite well. If the German doesn't know where to aim, yeah, you can bounce a few shots, but if the German knows where to aim, then you get one shot anyway. And here's a problem: the slow profile works perfectly in real environments, in nature environments, But in Enlisted, it doesn't, because in Enlist, this thing was meant to snipe enemy tanks from far away, where they actually they wouldn't be able to snipe you back. But in Enlisted, the distances are way too close, so you don't really snipe enemies, because there will be 1 trillion things in between you, blocking your line of sight, random rubble or random cars or whatever on the rocks. So you have trouble shooting at the targets with your lack of turret, but the enemy tanks don't. So yes, and your top is also very weak. You get easily sniped. So yeah, this is simply sadly not worth buying. And many people suspect there's going to be a new BR5 tank coming for the Soviets. Likely a T-34 100, which will make this thing completely obsolete. So yeah, this is not really worth buying. Then you get the jumpsuit squad. I bought it myself, I think beginning of the year, when they were down tier to BR4. And yep, this squad is actually good. Now, if you want a BR4 squad that also keeps up at BR5, the Beltfed DP is absolutely worth it. It's quite a slow firing machine gun, but it also has basically no recoil, and it's you can well spray it while aiming down sights, and of course you can mount it and then just spray away everything you see. And it comes with the perfect size of 5 dudes plus a flexible one. And it comes with machine gunner 3 tier with very good perks. So yep, this is overall a good squad. Definitely overall a good squad. That even keeps up and becomes relevant, stays relevant on BR5. And now for the fancy shop, we get the alleged collectible Nightwitches, which I tried in the practice range. And if you just look at the speed of this plane and the climb rate, you will see, yeah. Now, if you want to collect it, it's okay, because the bomb load for BR1 is okay. But that's all there is to it. Overall, it's not really a good plane, and you get much better stuff in the tech tree. So, it's a bad squad. It's only really good for the people who want to collect Enlisted for whatever reasons. but yeah, I wouldn't waste any money on it. Then the Lend-Lease Big Sherman, Heavy Sherman squad. It's a BR4 tank, and it's straight up worse than any Soviet tank in BR4. So yeah, this is not worth getting. This is not worth getting. You're much better off just playing the free tanks that you get as a Soviet, that you're also giving you authentic Soviet tanks, not some random Lend-Lease tank that just comes with worse armor and a worse cannon. So yeah, that's absolutely not worth buying. It's an okay squad because the tank is not bad, but that's all there is to it. That's literally all there is to it. It's even just a normal BR3 Sherman, only with a better cannon. But like, this thing isn't even playable in the American tech tree, and that one has much weaker tanks than the Soviets have. So yeah, this is just by definition a very, very weak squad, and the perks are also ass. So no thank you, Gaijin. No thank you. Then you get the bike, same as with every bikes. We already talked about the KV-2. Then we get a tank that is also very expensive, but also very useless. The T-34-85E. Now, this is very close to the Tech Tree one. Just a little bit tankier, thanks to these, well, improvised side skirts. But I think it also has a little bit better armor in the front turret, but that's it. It's not worth it. The free IS-1 you get is better. And the Tech Tree T-34-85 is very similar, so it's absolutely not worth the money. Not worth the money. It's an okay squad, but that's all there is to it. Then a squad that keeps disappointing. The BM-8. If this was BR1, I would recommend it as a fun meme squad, similar to the cannon planes, that you play more for the fun aspect than for the power aspect. At least the weak cannon planes, the strong cannon planes, of course, you also play for power. But this one, it's basically Katyusha rockets Only 24 only means you will have to spend 3 minutes to resupply after you've shot all of these, which you can shoot in like 1 minute or, yeah, 1 minute around. So, yep, that's the first problem. These rockets are absolutely useless against tanks. They don't do anything. They're pure HE from my testing. They're only good against infantry, but also only if you... well, if the infantry doesn't shoot anything at you because you instantly blow up. And you don't have any armor. You literally have BR1 armor, and you have a BR1 weapon system. And you only have 2 crew members, so yeah, this is insanely weak. Like in real life, this was used as mobile artillery, self-propelled artillery, rocket artillery. The speed was there, and well, you could shoot it multiple kilometers away, so multiple miles reach. In Enlisted, they fly like this. Yeah, so there's no long range capability with these things. So yeah, this squad would need to be BR1 to be even remotely playable, but for some reason it's still BR2. I'm very surprised. I guess Gaijin forgot about that squad, or people are buying it due to the cool image here, expecting it to be as good as it looks here, but nope, this squad is absolutely useless. You can wipe away infantry, but infantry also easily wipes away you, and you die against everything. So yeah, this squad is just bad. A big disappointment. And it's a very old squad from what I know, so the fact that Gaijin still didn't downrank it isn't a good sign for it to be useful in the future either. And then of course the Soviet medics we talked about that are also useless. Alright, that concludes the Soviets.